Many years ago, in a peaceful estate in Freetown, where everybody minded their business and pretended their life was perfect, there lived a beautiful woman named Salamati, a tall, elegant, classy lady who loved silence more than life itself and who believed that noise should be arrested and sentenced to life imprisonment. Salamati was the CEO of Peace and Quiet, the Minister of Silence Affairs, and the chairwoman of people who enjoyed hearing only their breathing and their thoughts. She hated noise so much that even her footsteps were quiet like a cat walking on cotton wool. Salamati always said with her full chest in public meetings and at private gatherings that children are noisy, messy, dramatic, and they are very expensive. I can never live with them. If they like, they should call me wicked. I love my peace. I will not be a baby factory. She avoided naming ceremonies like plague, and whenever she mistakenly attended one because somebody dragged her, she would sit in one corner covering her ears anytime a baby cried, rolling her eyes dramatically and whispering to the person beside her, "Why is this baby shouting as if someone assigned microphone to her throat? Can't she reduce her volume?" People laughed because they thought she was joking, but she was dead serious like exam instructions. Parents in the estate used to drag their children away from her gate, warning them, "Don't go near Auntie Salamati. She doesn't like children. If she sees you, she might even turn you into hush puppy." And children avoided her like a hungry dog because one day she shouted at a small boy whose balloon burst loudly, "Who sent you?" That day, the boy cried so much that his tears reached the houses at the back. Salamati believed children should come with manual and remote control, and she used to swear confidently that she would never give birth because she loved her sleep. She loved her quiet house. She loved her white sofa that was cleaner than a hospital bed, and she loved her freedom more than any salary alert. Ironically, she met Harold, a gentle, smiling man who believed noise was part of family life and who loved children so much that even babies who didn't know how to talk yet would stretch their hands to him as if he were Father Christmas. Harold used to say, "A house without children is like jollof rice without pepper." Salamati would glare at him and reply, "A house with children is like pepper inside your eyes." But love is a stubborn visitor that refuses to knock before entering. Somehow, Salamati fell in love with Harold's calm spirit, and they got married in a beautiful wedding full of children running around with balloons and making noise like market loudspeakers. That day, Salamati sat on the bridal chair smiling politely outside while her spirit was fuming inside. Who invited all these small humans? Why are they jumping as if they swallowed spring? During a family gathering after the wedding, someone asked Salamati when they were planning to start having children, and she boldly said, "We are not having any. We will adopt dogs. Dogs don't shout, 'Mommy, mommy, mommy' at 3 a.m. Everybody laughed loudly, believing she was just joking. For the first year of the marriage, life was sweet and peaceful. Their house was so quiet that you could hear mosquito footsteps. Salamati would wake up at 10 a.m. on Saturdays, drink tea slowly, sit in her spotless sitting room that smelled like lavender, and smile proudly at her life. Every evening, Harold played soft music and they ate dinner without interruption, without anybody crying for no reason, without anybody shouting, "Mommy, he touched me," or "Mommy, I want to poo." And Salamati would sigh with satisfaction and say, "This is life. This is paradise." However, paradise is like NEPA lights. It never lasts forever. because one peaceful morning, Salamati missed her period. At first, she said it must be stress, and then she missed it again and she said maybe the calendar lied, until her stomach started misbehaving like a generator with bad fuel and she fainted in the bathroom. Harold carried her to the hospital where the doctor smiled and said, "Congratulations, Madam Salamati, you are pregnant." Everywhere went silent first. Salamati sat up slowly, staring at the doctor as if she wanted to sue him for announcing tragedy. She shouted, "Pregnant? Me? How? Did someone put something inside the stew I ate? Who impregnated me?" Meanwhile, Harold was smiling foolishly with happiness like someone who swallowed sugar. He said, "Baby, God has blessed us." But Salamati replied, "This is not blessing, this is kidnapping of destiny." Since the day pregnancy entered Salamati's life rudely and without permission, her peaceful, soft life schedule scattered like a biscuit under a toddler's feet. She woke up every morning feeling like condemned oil was poured inside her stomach. She vomited so loudly that the neighbors thought somebody was doing dry fasting deliverance in the house. Even the ordinary smell of boiling water made her faint dramatically like a Nollywood actress. Her once elegant walk now turned into a penguin movement, and she complained about everything. She complained about lights, about darkness, about food, about air, about oxygen, about Harold breathing too loudly, and even about her own shadow following her too closely. "Harold, why are you breathing like a trailer engine? Do you want to kill my baby with carbon monoxide?" Harold was confused that day. "But I am not even breathing loudly now." Salamati glared at him. "Oh, so you are now talking back? You want to fight a pregnant woman? You want to appear on community WhatsApp group news, Abi?" Poor Harold quietly carried his pillow and went to sleep on the sofa in self-defense. People who visited the house during her pregnancy quickly learned to whisper like criminals under surveillance, because even a small sound from them, like a spoon touching the plate, could make Salamati snap like a broken hanger. One afternoon, she was lying on the bed crying loudly for absolutely no reason. Harold came running barefoot like an emergency ambulance. "Baby, what happened? What is wrong?" Salamati wailed. "The mosquito inside the room looked at me rudely." Harold blinked hard and asked, "Are you sure?" Salamati screamed, "Are you calling me a liar?" And she began crying again like someone whose village was taken over by flood. Now, after 9 months of emotional Olympics, hospital visits and tears over plantain that wasn't burnt enough, labor started at 2 a.m. on a rainy Sunday. Salamati shouted so loudly that the rain even stopped to listen. "Harold, my waist is divorcing me. I am seeing stars, moon, angels, and my ancestors. Call the doctor before I deliver on your face." Harold drove to the hospital like a Formula One driver, even though the hospital was only 10 minutes away. Nurses rushed her inside and told her to breathe normally. "Madam, calm down. Breathe in and out." Salamati shouted, "Are you mad? If you want to breathe, breathe yourself now. Leave my breathing alone." The nurse crossed herself quietly. And then, after hours of shouting, screaming, threatening Harold's family, promising to never have children again, and insulting every man in the world, including Adam and Abraham, a small baby girl finally arrived. She was tiny, beautiful and innocent, but loud like a church speaker without volume control. The moment she came out, she screamed aggressively as if she was demanding justice from heaven. Salamati stared at her in shock. Why is she shouting as if she was forced to pay tax inside the womb? Can someone reduce her volume? But Harold was smiling like someone who just got a free visa to Canada. She's perfect. She looks just like you. Salamati looked at him and shook her head. If she looks like me, she should behave quietly. Who taught her how to shout? They named her Ariella, a sweet name that means God's lioness. And truly, she roared day and night like a lioness with microphone. When they returned home after some days, Salamati expected peace to come back, but instead, chaos entered. Baby Ariella cried every 4 minutes, morning, afternoon, evening, midnight, and even inside her sleep. Salamati could not understand how a human being that small could produce sound that loud. She tried silent rocking, but the baby screamed louder. She tried singing lullaby, but the baby screamed as if she hated music. She tried giving milk. The baby screamed as if she needed fufu. She tried praying. The baby screamed as if a demon threatened the prayer. Even neighbors began sending messages. Madam, please, does your baby have an alarm battery inside her throat? Reduce her volume, please. Salamati stared into the distance like someone seeing flashbacks of her peaceful life running away with a suitcase. Sleep disappeared from her eyes. Her hair was scattered. Her wrapper was lost out of shape. Her soul traveled temporarily to Ghana. Then, one day at 3 a.m., she stood in the living room holding baby Ariella and talking to no one in particular. Noise. Is this how you want to kill me? Is this how I will die? Somebody should come and carry this baby, please. I want to rest. But the baby screamed louder as if she understood the disrespect. Harold, who was half asleep, said, "Baby, we'll get used to it. Don't worry. Children bring joy." Salamati fumed. Joy? This is not joy. This is judgment. And she began crying louder than the baby. That night, she looked up to heaven and prayed, "Lord, please, I repent. I surrender. Please, no more children. Just one is enough. I promise I will love every child I see. Just stop this noise, please." But the angel in charge must have been laughing because destiny had already booked her future. What she did not know was that more babies were warming up in heaven gym, doing press-ups and stretching their vocal cords, preparing to scatter her life beautifully. 2 years after Ariella arrived, when Salamati had just begun to breathe normally again and had even started telling people she was finally regaining her sanity, destiny slapped her from behind. One quiet Tuesday morning, when Salamati was cooking stew, singing praise songs and thanking God for restoring peace, Harold walked into the kitchen, smiling suspiciously like someone holding a secret government document. "Baby, I need to tell you something," he said. Salamati frowned. "Tell me what? You look like somebody who wants to confess that he used my lotion to shine his shoe." Harold smiled nervously and held her hand. "Salamati, you are pregnant again." The spoon fell from her hand in shock. She stood frozen and widened her eyes like someone seeing a ghost eating jollof rice on their sofa. "Me? Pregnant? Again? After all the suffering I suffered? Did you put something inside the pepper soup? Did you bribe my ovaries? Harold!" Harold tried to calm her down, but Salamati grabbed his shirt dramatically. "Explain how. What did you do? I need the mathematics because if we use the safe period method, then the calculations came from witchcraft college." Poor Harold's ears almost fell off that day. That night, Salamati cried for 6 hours straight, not because she was sad though, but because she needed to release emotional steam before exploding like a pressure cooker. She cried until Harold brought her ice cream. "Baby, calm down. Children are blessings." Salamati cried. "Blessings from where? If this is a blessing, unbless me, please." Well, the baby refused to disappear, and after 9 months of another dramatic hormonal war, baby Zara arrived, tiny like a baby rat, but with a voice like fire alarm. Even the nurses covered their ears when she cried. Now, there were 2 children. One was crying soprano, the other was screaming alto. And just like that, the house became a choir practice hall of confusion. When Zara cried, Ariella cried too. And when Ariella cried louder, Zara responded with a higher pitch. The dogs in the estates even started howling in solidarity solidarity. Once, at 4 a.m., both children screamed at the same time and Salamati fell on the floor shouting, "God, what did I do now? Is it because I used to dodge children at parties? Please, stop this audio terrorism." Neighbors started knocking on their door with prayer oil and painkillers. "Madam, please, we need to sleep. If you don't mind, pour this oil all over their bodies. It will silence them." But Salamati only stared at them with empty eyes like someone who had left her body spiritually. And just when she thought life couldn't break her anymore, 3 years later, she discovered she was pregnant again. This time, she didn't scream. She just slowly packed her handbag and walked out of the house barefoot. Harold ran after her. "Baby, where are you going?" Salamati looked at him calmly but dangerously. "To wherever people without children live. You and your destiny children should enjoy yourself." Harold blocked her path, begging and hugging her legs like a mechanic holding a vehicle that wants to roll away. 9 months later, Junior was born. Now, Junior was different. He didn't walk. He ran everywhere like someone trying to win an Olympic gold medal. That boy moved like the wind with a sugar rush. If you blinked, he would have disappeared. If you turned around, he would have climbed the cupboard. If you forgot the gates open, you would see him outside greeting strangers. One day, Junior climbed the fridge and jumped down like Superman. Salamati shouted, "Junior, are you okay? Do you want to meet your ancestors early?" Junior smiled and said, "Mommy, I believe I can fly." Salamati almost fainted. At that moment, it dawned on her that her house was now an international disaster zone. Her living room looked like a toy shop explosion. No, better put, it looked like a diaper war ground. Scratch that. It looked like a crayon art museum and a food laboratory at once. If she stepped into the bathroom for a second, the moment she came out, there would already be cornflakes inside the blender, toothpaste on the curtains, and Lego blocks waiting to break someone's toes. It was so bad that visitors stopped coming to their house long ago, and even domestic staff applied for resignation just 2 days after resumption. The worst moment was when Junior found a bag of flour and poured it everywhere like snow festival. The whole house looked like a bakery explosion, and Salamati stood in the middle speechless. Ariella was laughing and clapping like a comedian. Zara poured water to help clean, thereby turning the house into a thick cement paste. Junior danced inside it like ritual ceremony, while Salamati knelt down slowly and cried, "God, this is not life. This is warfare." Just then, someone knocked. It was the estate chairman holding a complaint letter. "Madam, the residents say your house noise is disturbing the entire neighborhood. Please speak to your children, or rather, you can move to an industrial area." Salamati used the letter to wipe her tears. That night, she sat in bed staring at the 3 sleeping angels who looked innocent at night but transformed into warriors by day. She whispered, "When I said I rebuke children, is this how heaven decided to punish me?" See, if Salamati ever believed she had reached the peak of madness, she was wrong, because life looked at her and said, "Hold my zobo for me." Just when she thought 3 children were enough to send anybody into early retirement, she woke up one morning feeling unusually tired, weak, dizzy, and emotionally fragile like soaked cornflakes. She assumed it was stress because stress had become her best friend lately. But when she took a pregnancy test just to clear doubts, the result shouted positive 4 times. She stared at the test strips like someone who discovered snake inside her handbag. Her spirit left her body, went to the gates, greeted the gatesman, bought pure water, and returned. She walked to the living room slowly like a ghost with an unfinished assignment. Harold, who was happily feeding Junior cornflakes, looked up with his usual optimistic smile and said, "Baby, you look pale. Are you okay?" Salamati dropped the pregnancy test on the table silently. Harrod picked it up, stared at it, smiled broadly and said, "Baby, God has blessed us again." Salamati blinked slowly and replied, "At this point, he needs to rest. He is doing too much." Harrod laughed, thinking she was joking, until Salamati suddenly burst into tears like a tap left open and began packing her bags. Harrod asked, "Where are you going?" Salamati sighed, "To a quiet country where children don't exist. Somewhere far, maybe Antarctica." Harrod held her leg like someone begging for life. "Please don't go. We can do this together." Salamati glared at him. "Together? You that sleeps like a dead body while World War III happens in your house. Let me rest, please, before I become breaking news." Well, she didn't escape. Destiny held her hostage again. And then, after 9 more months of hormonal drama, tears, prayer, threats of divorce, and insults towards Harrod's ancestors, baby Didi arrived looking peaceful and soft like bread, but with a cry that could wake soldiers up. This was a child who screamed, not because she was hungry or uncomfortable, but because screaming was her talent.